Good evening, and welcome back to the Solo Gamers Club. Tonight, I'll be continuing with my playthrough of Eldritch Horror. This is episode 6. We're going to be starting turn 13, and to this point, we've already completed 3 of our 4 mysteries that we need to win the game. We're going to be working on discovery of an ancient civilization, and that's going to require us to do research encounters and gain clues from those. If we can get 4 clue tokens on this card, we're going to win the game. The Doom track is currently at 9 right now, so we have some time available. The downside is we do have this twin spawn of Cthulhu ongoing rumor. There's 2 epic monsters on the board, so those are going to have to be dealt with. We have time, though. There's only 3 there's still 3 Eldritch tokens on the card, so that would give us 3 reckoning phases before that would kick off. All right, we're going to begin the turn. We'll begin the action phase with our lead investigator. That's Mark Harrigan. He's in the southern part of the Indian Ocean, and he is in the process of trying to kill that Cthulhu. He already has 1 hit on the creature. He's going to use his component action. You and 1 monster on your space lose 1 health. So I think he'll do that. He's got plenty of health. And that'll drop him down from 8 down to 7. That'll place a second hit on that creature. Then he's going to do a move action back to Cape Town, South Africa. He's going to need to heal up a bit. That'll complete his action phase. Okay, next up is Patrice Hathaway. She's at the City of the Elder Things. I'm going to eventually have her try to go after this crawling one and then maybe try to solve that gate. She's going to begin with a focus action. That'll gain her 1 focus token. She has a focus token and 1 resource. Her second is going to play this banishment spell. Now this creature is magic resistant. But that only affects it if you're using for spell effects. I'm going to be using a condition that she has called Attuned. And that says when resolving a spell effect, you may gain +2 to your lore. If you do, flip this card before resolving the test. All right, so we're going to do that. We'll flip the card. It says Attuned. Each 6 you roll when resolving the lore test counts as 2 successes. After resolving the test, resolve the effect based on your test result. All right, so she has a lore value of 3. She has a +1 improvement, and she's going to gain 2 for the Attuned, and the test is +2. So that's quite a bit. She's going to have a total of 8 dice she can roll. That's about the most I think I've rolled ever. So we're going to make a 8 dice roll. And 6s will be very important to us. Okay. I might need a larger dice bowl than this. I think I'm going to have to. Let me get another dice container. Yeah, that's going to work a little bit better. Okay, here we go. We got 8 dice to roll. Here we go. And we've rolled a total of 3 successes. And 1 of them is a 6. So that's going to give us a total of 2, 3, 4 successes. That is going to be sufficient to take out the crawling one, which has a toughness of 3. Okay, now that we've got a total of 4 successes, we are going to look on the card, and it says 2 or better, the arcane forces exploit your fears. Flip one of your madness conditions unless you discard this card. Then flip this card. Okay, let's see if she has a madness condition. She does not. She does not have a madness condition, so we've effectively destroyed that creature, and the card gets flipped back. So that was very successful for us. Okay, now we're going to move on to Jacqueline Fine. She is in Vladivostok. I'm going to have her do a travel action using the sea path back to Tokyo. I'm hoping to get a defeat monsters effect on my encounter there during the encounter phase. And then she is going to do a focus action and gain a focus token. She has 1 focus and 2 resources and a rail travel ticket. All right, now we'll move on to Kate Winthrop. She is going to do a focus action. That'll get her 2 focus tokens total. She has 1 clue and 2 resources. Then she's going to do a travel action to the City of the Elder Things. We'll use that uncharted path, and she'll move and join Patrice Hathaway at the City of the Elder Things. And that will complete the action phase for turn 13. And now we're at the encounter phase. We're going to have Mark Harrigan do a location encounter in Cape Town, South Africa. And that'll be a general encounter. And that card reads, "A flood has destroyed the library. You look through the sludge for valuable items. Test observation." Okay, he has an observation value of 2, so we'll be able to roll 2 dice. Okay. Okay, and here's his roll. He has no successes. Okay, I don't have any focus tokens, and I don't want to burn clues for this, so we'll just keep reading here. If you fail, the mildew overpowers you. Gain a diseased condition. All right, so we have to gain a diseased condition. Okay, so Mark has gained a diseased condition, and that says illness. When you perform a rest action, roll 1 die. On a 5 or 6, discard the card. On a reckoning, test strength -1. If you fail, flip the card. Okay, all right, that's going to complete Mark Harrigan's encounter phase. We'll move on to Patrice Hathaway. All right, Patrice Hathaway is at the City of the Elder Things. She's been joined by Kate Winthrop, and she's going to attempt to do a otherworld encounter and try to close that city at City of the Elder Things. And that card reads, Great Hall of Sileno. You encounter the elderly version of yourself who claims to have spent years studying in the library. Your other self, shows you several obscure books and tries to teach you a lifetime of occult knowledge. Test lore -1. All right, Patrice Hathaway has a lore value of 3 and a +1 for her improvement, so that with the -1 from the test, she'll be able to roll 3 dice. If she can close this gate, she'll be able to add that gate to Kate Winthrop's resonance, and that would give her the 5 gates that she needs in order to get her I understand reward. So let's see if we can do this. Okay, here is the roll. She failed. Okay, I'm going to have her spend a focus token, and we'll see if we can get a success on this. Okay, here's the roll. And she did not. So we're going to read the fail condition. Speaking to your future self is too bizarre to endure. Gain 1 madness condition. All right, we'll get a madness condition. And the madness condition is terror. When you perform a rest action, you cannot recover sanity. Roll 1 die. On a 4, 5, or 6, discard the card. During a reckoning, test will. If you fail, flip the card. Okay, we'll continue reading. You try to do as the other you instructs. We have to test willpower. All right, Patrice Hathaway has a will value of 4. Let's see if she has any other cards that could help her with that. And she does. The Willful Aristocrat. It's going to gain her +1 to will. All right, and so we'll be able to roll a total of 5 dice for this test. Okay, here's the roll. She has 1 success. If you pass, you succeed. Close this gate. All right, that is great. So we've closed the gate at the City of the Elder Things. She did get a terror condition out of it, but this is going to be the 5th gate added to Kate Winthrop's resonance. So that's 5 gates. And then that will allow her to gain her I understand reward. So let's get that out. And that one says, reward. When you gain this card, gain 3 clues. If a gate would spawn that corresponds to the current omen, you may spend 2 clues to discard the gate instead. Okay, that's a permanent improvement for her. That's great. She's going to gain 3 clues. Outstanding. All right, so now we're going to move on to Jacqueline Fine. She's currently in Tokyo, and she's going to do a location encounter in Tokyo. And that card reads, a museum curator asks you to be his guest. Gain 1 random service asset from the deck. Okay. And that service asset is revealed to be Magic Shop. When you gain this card, immediately gain 2 spells, then discard 1 spell and this card. Okay. All right, the 2 spells are revealed to be Poison Mist and Mists of Relea. Mists of Relea, incantation. During the encounter phase, you may test lore. If you pass, you may choose an encounter as if there are no monsters on your space. Then flip this card. And Poison Mist, a ritual. Action, test lore +1. If you pass, discard monsters from your space with a total toughness equal to or less than your test result. Then flip the card. I'm going to go with Mists of Relay. We'll keep that one. And this one will get discarded. All right. And then we'll continue on reading the Tokyo encounter. It says, you buy a print of the Great Wave. Test influence -1. Okay, Jacqueline Fine has an influence of 2 and a +1 improvement, so that will allow her a total of 2 dice to roll. All right, see if we can pass this. She did. She's got a 6, so that passes it. And it says here, if you pass, he reveals its true power. Discard 1 monster of your choice from any space. Well, that is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to take a look at this very carefully. Well, unfortunately, that wouldn't apply to any of the epic monsters we have, but I'm going to use it against this Ligor from the Miskatonic Outpost. And we're going to get rid of that Ligor. That one's... I don't like the fact that that thing can, on a space or adjacent spaces, investigators lose 1 health or sanity. So we'll get rid of that, and that would be a good use of that benefit. That's great. And now we'll move on to Kate Winthrop. She's at the City of the Elder Things. She's going to end up doing a location encounter in that space, and that reads, as your hunger grows, you find recently killed albino penguins covered in protoplasmic slime. You may recover 2 health to eat them. If you recover the health, the protoplasm changes you. Gain a hunger condition. If you do not recover the health, your hunger is tiring. Lose 2 sanity. Well, I'll have her lose the 2 sanity. I don't want to gain any more problem cards. She already has a hunger card to begin with. So she'll lose the 2 sanity. That'll bring her down to 3 sanity. And that will complete the encounter phase. And now we'll continue on with the Mythos phase, and here's the card. Led Astray. We begin with a Omen track advancement, and that will go from red to blue. And we don't have any blue gates now that we've closed that one at the City of the Elder Things, so that's a good thing. The next is a Monster Surge. Now, as there's no blue gates, we will have to spawn a gate. And that one is revealed to be in Shanghai. It's another red gate. Okay, I'll get a red stand for that. All right, we'll place that gate in Shanghai. And then we have to draw a monster for that location. And that one is revealed to be a young Chthonian. That has an effect on it. And it says, when this monster is spawned, each investigator on this space or an adjacent space loses 1 health and sanity. Well, that is going to affect Jacqueline Fine. So I'm going to get a stand for that, put that in Shanghai. And Jacqueline Fine is going to have to lose, let's double check that again, a health and a sanity. Okay, let's see what that does to her. And that will move her down to 3 health and 6 sanity. And next is we have to spawn a couple of clues. And that first one is in space 18. The second one is in space 20. Okay, space 20, it looks like that's in Indonesia. And space 18 is in the South Indian Ocean. All right. And now it's the event phase. It reads, your experiences have made you more gullible rather than wiser. The terrible responsibilities you have taken upon yourself have made you more vulnerable rather than stronger. Led astray. Event. Each investigator with at least 1 task asset loses 3 sanity and discards 1 task asset. All right, that is going to involve Patrice Hathaway and Jacqueline Fine. Each of them are going to lose 3 sanity. That will bring Patrice down to 4 and Jacqueline Fine down to 3. And now they're going to have to discard 1 task asset each. Jacqueline Fine only has 1. She is going to discard her Bury Them Deep. And Patrice Hathaway has 3 of them. And, I'm sorry, 2 of them. And she is going to discard. And she's also going to discard the Bury Them Deep card. All right, and that is going to conclude the Mythos phase. We'll move on to the action phase of turn 14. Okay, we begin the action phase of turn 14. Mark Harrigan is in Cape Town, South Africa. He's going to start with a rest action, and that's going to gain him a health and a sanity. His sanity will grow up to 3, and his health will go to 7. His next action will be a focus, and he's going to gain a focus token. So he has 1 clue and 1 focus. All right, we'll move on with Patrice Hathaway. She's currently at the City of the Elder Things. I'm going to have her do a rest action, and that will allow her to recover 1 health, bringing her health up to 5. She's prohibited from recovering any sanity damage. She has several conditions, and we're going to roll for those during the rest action. First, it's diseased. When you perform a rest action, roll a die. A die on a 5 or 6, you can discard it. I'll start with that. Okay, here's the roll. She rolled a 1, so no help there. Back injury. When you perform a rest action, you may roll 1 die. On a 5 or 6, you can discard it. And a 1, no help there. And then that terror card. When you perform a rest action, you cannot recover sanity. Roll a die. On a 4, 5, or 6, discard the card. And no help there, so not too good. All right, the second part of her action phase is she's going to do a move action using the Uncharted Path to move to the Frozen Waste. Now we'll move on to Jacqueline Fine. She's in Tokyo. I'm going to have her do a rest action that will allow her to recover 1 sanity and 1 health, bringing her health and sanity up to 4. And then she's going to do a travel action using the Sea Path. She'll move to Indonesia, and I'm going to attempt to have her do a research action and see if she can get that clue token placed onto the mystery during the research, or during the encounter phase. Okay, Kate Winthrop is up next. She's at the City of the Elder Things, and she's going to do a rest action, and that will allow her to recover 1 sanity and 1 health. That puts her health at a total of 5, and her sanity at 4. And then she also has this hunger condition. It says when you perform a rest action, you cannot recover sanity. Okay, well, cannot have sanity then. She's back at 3 sanity. And then on a roll of 4, 5, or 6, you can discard the card. Okay, so let's see if we can discard this thing. Okay, here's the roll. She rolled a 4. Okay, good. So we can get rid of that madness. And then the second part of her action will be to travel to the frozen waste. And that's going to complete the action phase. Now we'll go on to the encounter phase, and Mark Harrigan is the our first player, our lead investigator, and he is going to take a location encounter at Cape Town, South Africa. That'll be a general encounter. And that's revealed to be: the police ask for your help investigating a series of ritual killings. The grisly crime scenes threaten to overwhelm you with chills and nausea. Test will. Okay, Mark Harrigan has a will of 4. I'm going to see if he has any cards that could be helpful to him. And he has 1. It's a forbidden text card, which grants him +1 willpower. So that'll give him a total of 5, and he'll be able to roll 5 dice on this test. Okay, we'll see if he can pass this. Okay, here's the roll. Yeah, he's got 2 successes, a 5 and a 6. Okay, we'll read on. If you pass, you manage to examine the scene and find significant information. Spawn 1 clue. All right, that's great. And the clue spawns in Buenos Aires. Okay, we'll place that in Buenos Aires. Okay, that completes his encounter phase. We'll move on to Patrice Hathaway. She's at the frozen waste, and we'll have her do a location encounter at the frozen waste. And that card reads: the relentless cold and solitude is all you can think of or remember. Your body and mind are freezing, and numbness erodes the core of your identity. Test will. Okay, Patrice Hathaway has a will of 4. I'm going to see if she has any cards that might be able to help her. She has 1. That's the willful aristocrat, which will add +1 to the willpower. So that'll allow her to roll 5 dice. And she's got 4 successes. It's fantastic. Okay, and it reads, if you fail, all that you had once been is gone, lose 2 sanity. So there's no benefit. All you do is avoid losing anything. Okay, so that'll complete her encounter phase. And now it's Jacqueline Fine's turn. She is going to do a token encounter, a research encounter in Indonesia. That is a city location. We'll see if she can complete this. If she's able to, we can place that token on the mystery. Okay, here is the card. It reads, a mob is gathering outside the city council, angry over the disappearance of several citizens. You attempt to calm the crowd. Test influence. Okay, Jacqueline Fine has an influence of 2 and a +1 improvement, so that will allow her to roll 3 dice. She has 1 focus token that she can use. Okay, here's the roll. And she has a success. That's a 5. Okay, and that reads, if you pass, you listen to the crowd about their concerns. Gain this clue. All right, she is going to take that clue and place that on the discovery of the ancient civilization. After an investigator resolves a research encounter, he may spend one clue he gained from that encounter to place on the card. All right, if we can get 3 more of those, we're going to win. That's going to complete Jacqueline Fine's encounter. We'll move on to Kate Winthrop. Okay, Kate Winthrop is also at the Frozen Waste, and she will do a location encounter at the Frozen Waste. And that reads, you find a blood-stained book written by hand in a complex code. Test lore. All right. Kate Winthrop has a lore of 3 and a +1 improvement. And I'll see if she has any cards that could help her. No, she does not. The Scales of Thoth she has would give her a +2, but she has to be in balance in health and sanity, and she's not. So it looks like all she's going to be able to do is get a roll of 4 dice for the test. Okay. Okay, here's her roll. And she has 2 successes, double 5s. And it says, if you pass, you decipher Gedney's diary. Gain 1 old journal unique asset. Okay, I'll get that out. All right, and that old journal is an item, tome, as an action, test, observation. If you pass, you discover information that may prove useful to your cause. Flip this card. Okay, that's great. And now we'll move on to the Mythos phase. And that card is revealed to be Against All Odds. We'll start with a Omen track advancement. We'll move from the blue to the green. And we have 1 green gate in Tunguska. So we are going to advance the Doom track from 9 to 8. Okay, next is a monster surge. So we're going to have to spawn two monsters in Tunguska. All right, we'll draw those cards, or those monsters rather. First one is Child of the Goat. Second one is a cultist. Okay, let's take a look at that Child of the Goat. It's got magical resistance, and on a reckoning, roll a die. On a 1 or 2, advance the Doom by 1. Ooh, okay, so it's not a very difficult one, but does have some, could pose some problems. Okay, we'll get some stands for those. Okay, then next is we're going to spawn 2 clues. And those are going to appear at Arkham and Space 11. Okay, Space 11 is right here, and Arkham is right there. Okay, now we're going to go on to the event. It says, your food is being poisoned. Your correspondence are being intercepted. Your transportation is being sabotaged. The constant attacks, real and imagined, are taking a terrible toll on you. Against all odds, ongoing. When this card enters play, each investigator loses 2 health unless he spends 1 focus. Then each investigator loses 2 sanity unless he spends a clue. Whoa. All right. All right, we'll start out with the lead investigator, Mark Harrigan. It says here that each investigator loses 2 health unless he spends a focus. Well, I'll have him lose the 2 health. He's got plenty of that. So that'll move him down to 5. And now as for the sanity, that's more precarious for him. He is going to spend a clue to prevent the loss of the 2 sanity. And that'll keep him at 3. We'll move on with Patrice Hathaway. Patrice does not have any focus, so she's going to have to lose the 2 health. That'll bring her down to 3 health. And she has plenty of clues, so I think I'll have her spend 1 clue to prevent the loss of the sanity. All right, and then we'll move on to Jacqueline Fine. Jacqueline has a focus, so I think I'll have her spend that in lieu of losing the health. And she does not have a clue, so she'll have to lose the 2 sanity. That brings her down to 2 sanity, unfortunately. And finally, Kate Winthrop. Kate has a focus, so she'll spend that to prevent the strength loss. And she does have a clue token. She'll spend that to prevent the sanity loss. And that is going to complete the Mythos phase. This is an ongoing card, so it'll have to be left out. And during the next Reckoning phase, it says each investigator may spend 1 focus and 1 clue to gain 2 task unique assets and discard 1 of them, then discard the card. Well, all right, so we'll leave that out. And that's going to complete turn 14. We'll move on to turn 15. Before we start the action phase of the new turn, I had one oversight from the previous turn, and that is for Kate Winthrop and for Patrice Hathaway. Each of them performed a encounter at the Frozen Waste, and part of the text was, after an investigator resolves a location encounter or research encounter on the space, he may move to the City of the Elder Things or to Lake Camp. Well, both of them would have moved to Lake Camp. My intent is to get out of the Antarctic board and onto the main map to solve research encounters. Okay, so that is the correction from the previous turn. And now we're going to be starting the action phase for turn 15. That's Mark Harrigan is up first. And I think, considering the time frame that's left, there's 5 Mythos cards remaining. And in that time, I have to get 3 more clue tokens placed onto the mission, or the mystery rather, to solve that, and that would solve our 4th mystery and we'd win the game. So I'm going to focus a full court press on getting research encounters. So I'm going to leave the ongoing rumor. We have 3 tokens on there. So I'm going to leave that, not even bother with that, and just focus on getting those research encounters. So with that in mind, we're going to move Mark Harrigan to probably to this space and have him do a research encounter there. I think before I move him, I'm going to have him do a rest action, and that will allow him to recover a health and sanity. That will place his health at 6 and his sanity back at 4. That's his full capacity. Then he's going to do a move action, and he's going to undertake eventually a research encounter at that sea space, and I'll have him continue on to Buenos Aires and those in South America. And now it is Patrice Hathaway's turn. She is going to undertake a rest action, and that will allow her to recover 1 health. Now, she's prohibited from recovering any sanity because of the terror condition that she has. It says when you perform a rest action, you cannot recover sanity. Now, each of these things we're going to be able to roll a die for to see if we can get rid of them as a part of the rest action. And we'll do that right now. First one is a back injury. When you perform a rest action, you may roll a die. On a 5 or 6, discard the card. Okay, here's her roll. She rolled a 1, so no help there. Next is diseased. When you perform a rest action, roll a die. On a 5 or 6, discard the card. And that's a 2, no help there. Finally, terror. When you perform a rest action, you cannot recover sanity. Roll a die. On a 4, 5, or 6, discard the card. And no luck there. Okay, some bad rolls there. All right, so that allowed her to recover 1 health. In the second part of her action, she's going to do a move action using that path to go to Miskatonic Outpost. And now we have Jacqueline Fine. Jacqueline is going to do a rest action, and that will allow her to recover a health and sanity. Her health goes to, or her health is already full, so she's at 4 health, and she'll be able to recover 1 sanity. That brings her up to 3 sanity. Okay, then she's going to conduct a move action. She'll use the sea path to go from Indonesia to Bombay, and then I'm going to have her use her rail ticket, taking the rail line from there to Istanbul, and then she can try for that research token there. And now it's Kate Winthrop's turn. She's going to start with a rest action, and that will bring her up to a total of 4 sanity and 5 health. And then she's going to do a travel action and use that uncharted path and move to Miskatonic Outpost. And that's going to complete the action phase. We'll move on to the encounter phase. All right, we're in the encounter phase. It's Mark Harrigan is up first, and he's at this sea space with a clue token. He's going to undertake a token encounter, and we'll have him do a research action, and hopefully he can obtain this clue and place that on the mystery. Okay, that card reads, your ship has run aground on an uncharted island. You take the opportunity to explore while you wait for the tide. Test observation. Okay. And Mark has an observation value of 2, and he also has 1 focus token if needed. Okay, here is the roll. And he failed. He rolled a 2 and a 4. Well, I'm going to have him burn that focus token, and we'll see if he can get a success here. Okay, here's the roll. And he failed. Okay, we'll continue on reading. It says if you fail, his mind, if you fail, you miss the tide and have to swim back to the ship. Gain a hypothermia condition. Okay. Okay, so he's going to gain a hypothermia condition, which says when you perform a rest action, you cannot recover health. Roll 1 die. On a 4, 5, or 6, discard the card. If you would gain another hypothermia condition, flip the card instead. Okay, that's unfortunate. Okay, now we're up with Patrice Hathaway. She is at the Miskatonic Outpost, and there is a monster there, so we're going to have to fight that cultist first. This will be a combat action. She does have the Attuned card, and that's going to allow her to, when resolving a spell effect, you may gain +2 lore. Now, this really isn't a spell effect, that's true. So I guess that will not apply. She has to do a lore -1 test. So that Attuned card will not work. And we'll have her perform that lore -1. She has a lore value of 3 and a +1 for an improvement, and then -1 for the test. So she'll be rolling 3 dice. And if she's successful on this, that will eliminate the monster, and she'll gain a hero out of this. Ally, rather. Okay, here is the roll. And she's successful. She's got a 6. So that will successfully eliminate the cultist. And then she gets to draw a ally card. All right, and we'll do that. Okay, and that has gained her a cat burglar. As an action, roll 1 die. On a 5 or 6, gain 1 item or trinket asset from the reserve. On a 1, discard the card. Okay, now that there are no monsters left on her space, she's able to take a free action. And she is going to undertake a token encounter and attempt to get that clue token. And that research encounter reads, you encounter a shadowy figure and try to interpret what it is saying to you. Test lore -1. Okay, same situation. Then she's able to roll 3 dice. We'll see if she can complete this. Okay, here is the roll. And she's failed. All right, I'm going to have her use one of her clue tokens and see if she can re-roll it. The clue tokens aren't really of any use to us. We have to obtain the clue tokens from research encounters in order to put those on the mystery. So we'll try a roll. And that's a failure. And I think I'll try one more. That's her last clue. See if she can pass this. She did. She's got a 6. That's a success. Okay, and it says, if you pass, it warns you about the future. Gain this clue. Fantastic. We're going to take that clue and place that on the mystery. That's our second. We need 2 more in order to win the game. And now we have Jacqueline Fine. She is in Istanbul, and she's going to conduct a token encounter, and she'll do a research action there. Let's see what the card is. Okay, it reads, "You pursue the thrall to the roof of the hotel. He jumps off the edge and lands on the roof of an adjacent building. You gather yourself for a mighty leap. Test strength." Okay, Jacqueline Fine, unfortunately, only has a strength of 1. She has no focus tokens, and she has no clue tokens. So this is going to be an extremely difficult test for her. All right, she's going to be able to roll 1 dice. And we'll see if she can pass this somehow. Okay, here is the roll. She rolled a 4, so that's a failure. We'll read on. If you fail, you don't make the jump, lose 2 health. Okay, that's going to bring her down to a total of 2 health, from 4 down to 2. That was very unfortunate. All right, and then now we'll move on to Kate Winthrop. All right, Kate Winthrop is up next, and we're going to have her conduct a token encounter, and she's going to attempt to close that gate at Miskatonic Outpost. And that's an Otherworld encounter, and that reads, "Great Hall of Seleno. The book you are looking for is not on its proper shelf. You search the surrounding area, but after long hours, you have lost the will to keep searching. Test will." Okay, Kate has a will of 2. We're going to see if there's any cards that can help her at all. No, there's not. So she's going to have 2 cards, 2 dice rather, in order to roll. And she has 1 focus token if needed. Okay, we'll have her do the test. And she's failed. I'm going to have her burn the focus token and see if we can somehow pull a success out. Okay, here's the roll. And she's failed. Okay, we'll have to do the fail criteria. It says you cannot find the book, but perhaps you unknowingly already have the information you need. You may spend 1 clue to close this gate. If you do not spend the clue, you become delayed. Well, she has no clues. So Kate Winthrop will get a delayed condition. And we signify that condition by laying her token down. Okay, that completes the encounter phase. I wish we would have done better. We still need 2 more clues on the mystery. We're going to move on to the mythos phase. And now we move on to the mythos phase. And that card is revealed to be called Bad Karma. Okay, we'll start with a Omen track advancement. That's going to go from green to blue. Now we have no blue gates on the board, so that's a good thing. And next is going to be a Monster Surge. Well, now that we don't have any gates of that color, we are going to spawn a gate in place of the Monster Surge. And that one is revealed to be in Relay, Space 3. Okay, so we're going to get a blue stand, and we'll put that out on Space 3. Okay, and that gate is going to go on to Space 3. That's out in the South Pacific. And then we have to draw a monster to spawn in that location as well. Okay, and that one is revealed to be Spawn of Seabach. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Has a will test with insanity of 2, strength test with a damage of 4, and a toughness of 4. It also says gain 1 injury condition for each health you lose from the strength test. It has a reckoning effect. Each investigator on this space loses a sanity. Okay, we'll get a stand for that and place that in the Space 3. All right, place that on Space 3, and we'll continue on. We have to spawn 2 clues next. Okay, All right, first one is in the Himalayas. Okay, we'll place that in the Himalayas. And the second clue is in space 14, and that is in Leningrad. Okay. And now we go on to the event. It reads, "You should have never gambled with such high stakes. As you push your chair away from the table, the old man stops you. He lets you know that you have options. Maybe you can avoid having to pay what you owe. Maybe a friend can cover your debts." It's called bad karma. Starting with the lead investigator and proceeding clockwise, each investigator resolves one effect of his choice. He gains a dark pact condition, or the investigator on his right loses 2 health and 2 sanity and discards all of their possessions. Whoa, that is a severe one. All right, we're going to begin with the lead investigator, and that's Mark Harrigan. Well, at this stage of the game, I really don't have much of a choice. We're going to have to just take the Dark Pact. And a Dark Pact reads, it's a deal. On a reckoning, roll a die. On a 1, it is time to fulfill your part of the bargain. Flip the card. Okay, so Harrigan is going to take the Dark Pact. And then we move on to Patrice Hathaway. Patrice really has no option. If she does not, Jacqueline Fine would lose 2 health, and that would knock her out. So she will have no choice but to take a Dark Pact as well. And we'll give her one of those. Jacqueline Fine, if she does not take the Dark Pact, Kate Winthrop could lose 2 health and 2 sanity, and she would have to lose all of her possessions as well. I think we're just going to, all of them are going to take a Dark Pact. There's really no choice at this point in the game, and we'll do that. So everyone has a Dark Pact. Now we know, based on the Mythos deck stages, that we're definitely going to be getting some yellow cards coming up, which are going to have reckoning effects. So these things are going to have a very good chance of kicking in. Really have no choice in the matter at this point. All right, that's going to complete turn 15. We'll move on to turn 16. Okay, our action phase starts with Mark Harrigan, and he is going to do a focus action. That'll earn him a focus token. And then he's going to do a rest action. Now he has a hypothermia condition, so he will not be able to recover any health, but it does allow him to roll a die to see if he can get rid of the condition. And that's what we're going to do. On a 4, 5, or 6, he would be able to get rid of the condition. Okay, here is the roll. You rolled a 5. Okay, good. So we've gotten rid of the hypothermia condition, and that's going to complete Harrigan's action. All right, we're up with Patrice Hathaway. She is going to undertake a rest action. Now, once again, she has that terror condition, which won't allow her to recover any sanity. So she will be able to recover 1 health. That will bring her up to her maximum of 5. And then she's going to be able to roll for these conditions that she has. We'll start with the back injury and see if she can get rid of that. That would be 5 or 6 would be good for that. That's a failure. Okay, we'll go with the disease card, also a 5 or 6 to get rid of that. Another failure. And finally the terror card, a 4, 5, or 6. And she was successful there. She's got a 6, and that will get rid of the terror card at least. Okay, that was her first action. Her second action is going to be a local action where she can gain a ship ticket. And that's what she's going to do. She'll gain that ship ticket, and then at the same time she's going to use the this local path to take her to the Antarctic space on the main board, and that's what we're going to do. We'll transfer her to there. All right. Okay, Jacqueline Fine is in Istanbul, and she's going to start out with a rest action that will allow her to recover 1 strength, bringing her up to 3, and 1 sanity, bringing her up to a total of 4. Her next action will be a focus action, and she'll earn herself 1 focus token. Okay, and then we'll move on now to Kate Winthrop. Okay, Kate Winthrop is delayed. She has nothing she can do on that other than just standing her token up in the space. That'll complete the action phase. We'll move on to the encounter phase. All right, Mark Harrigan is in the space 11, a C space, and he's going to do a token encounter and attempt to get a research encounter to get that clue. And that one will read, something has the penguins of the island in a frenzy. Test observation. Okay, he has an observation value of 2, and he does have 1 focus token. So we'll see if we can pass this test here. All right, here's the roll. Could use a little luck here. We got a 5 and a 6. We've passed. Okay, great. It says if you pass, you notice a newly carved image of the dark god on a cave wall. Gain this clue. Outstanding. That is our 3rd clue now. That is on the mystery. If we can get 1 more, we're going to win the game. Okay, now we move on to Patrice Hathaway. She is in Antarctica. That's a sea space, so she'll have to do a general encounter there on the sea space. And that reads, during a storm, you hear a voice coming from a blue glow atop the mast. You must brave the weather to stay on deck and listen. Test will. Okay, she has a will of 4. I'll see if she's got any cards that could help her with that. She does have the Willful Aristocrat, which will gain her +1 to will. And that'll allow her then to roll a total of 5 dice. Okay, so we've got 5 dice here. And we'll see if we can pass this test. Okay, here's the roll. And she has 2 successes, a 5 and a 6. Okay, we'll see what it says. If you pass, the voice teaches you to unlock your potentials. Gain 1 talent condition. Okay, that's great. And she's going to gain the talent Martial Prowess. When resolving a combat encounter, you may gain +3 strength during that encounter. If you do, flip this card before resolving the test. Okay, that's great. All right, now we're going to move on to Jacqueline Fine. She is in Istanbul. She's going to undertake a token encounter, and if she's able to get that clue, and she'll be able to place that on the mystery, and that'll be our 4th mystery solved at the end of the Mythos phase, and we're going to win the game. All right, hopefully we can get a little luck here. And that card is revealed to be Professor Ellery is working on a device that blocks the psychic dominance of the Elder Things, but he needs funding in order to produce a prototype. You may gain a debt condition to gain this clue and 1 additional clue. Absolutely, we are going to do that. We'll gain the debt condition, and we'll gain the clue, and another clue, and we're going to place that clue on the mystery. That's our 4th clue, and that is enough to solve the 4th mystery. So at the end of the Mythos phase, we're going to win the game, unless something catastrophic happens. So we're going to gain, we need to gain a debt condition. Okay, we'll do that. And she gains the debt condition, which says a local action, test influence. If you pass, discard the card. But on a reckoning, some men have come to collect your debt. Flip the card. Okay. All right, now we're going to move on with Kate Winthrop. We have to decide if we want to undertake the token encounter to try to close the gate or the Miskatonic Outpost encounter. We've essentially won the game, so I'm trying to think of what would be the lesser of the 2 evils for her. Well, I guess I'll have her try to close the gate. I think that would be the smart play, regardless. And that card is revealed to be the Future. You find yourself wading through the endless river of time. Indecipherable visions of past, present, and future dragging at your legs, trying to pull you under. You steel yourself and try to make headway against the raging current. Test strength. Okay, her strength is 2. She has no clues or no focus. So we're going to have to hope we pass this. Okay, here is the roll. And she's failed, so we're going to have to read the fail condition. It says, you hurtle through the ages, arriving abruptly at the moment of your death. Test will -1. Okay, her will is a 2. And let's see if she has any cards that could help her. No, only during a combat encounter. All right. Well, we're going to have to test will. She has a will value of 2. -1 is only 1 die. Not good. Okay, here we go. Here's the roll. She rolled a 1. That's a failure. And it says, if you fail, your mind collapses under the weight of predestination. Lose 6 sanity. Okay, well, that is going to drive Kate Winthrop to insanity. So, her token gets flipped down. We'll put a sanity token on there. And all of her possessions in that will go into that space, is what that would, in essence, would happen. Okay, as a defeated investigator, we have to advance the doom by 1. That'll move from 8 to 7. And we move the token to the nearest city space. Then lay the investigator token on its side and place in this case, a sanity token on it. Okay, the nearest city to her space would be Sydney. So that's where that is going to end up going. She'll go to Sydney. That's the closest location. She discards all of her condition cards, health, sanity, and improvement tokens. And all of the possessions are placed on the sheet. And then we, after resolving the steps above, investigators continue resolving the current phase of the game. If an investigator is defeated, the player controlling that investigator chooses a new investigator at the end of the mythos phase. So, well, we hopefully won't have to deal with that, because since we are going to be winning the game, theoretically. All right, that is going to complete the encounter phase. We'll move on to the mythos phase. All right, we're at the mythos phase, and we'll see what happens here. Okay, it's a yellow card. It's called Mass Hysteria. The first thing we do is a omen track advancement that is going to move the omen track from blue to red. Now we have many red gates on the board. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 red gates. That is going to move the doom track from 7 down to 3. All right. Then we're going to have our reckoning phase, beginning with the monsters. So we'll start out with a reckoning phase for monsters. And we've got several of those. There is, I'm going to zoom out a bit so we can see the entire board. Okay, we've zoomed out a bit. We have one creature at space 3, and that is a spawn of Seabach. And that says each investigator on this space loses a sanity. Okay, there's nobody there. We have 2 monsters up in Tunguska. One of them is the child of the goat. And that reads, roll a die on a 1 or 2, advance the doom track. Okay, so we're going to roll a die. And on a 1 or 2, the doom track advances. We rolled a 4. Okay, that's good. And we have one more monster with a reckoning effect. That's a flying polyp, and that says move this monster to the nearest space containing a gate. Well, it's already on that space with Tunguska, so no more problems there. That completes the monsters. We move on to Ancient One. That has no reckoning effect. We go on to the Mythos cards, and we do have one there, and that's the Twin Spawn of Cthulhu. Discard 1 Eldritch token from this card unless investigators as a group spend clues equal to half the investigators. Well, we'll get rid of 1. Puts us down to 2. And the other card that is active is this Against All Odds. Each investigator may spend 1 focus and 1 clue to gain 2 task unique assets and discard one of them, then discard the card. Well, We're going to get rid of the card. And now we're going to move on to possessions and conditions. Okay. All right, we'll begin with Mark Harrigan. He has a Dark Pact, and that means we're going to have to roll a die. On a result of a 1, we have to flip the card. Okay, here is his roll. He rolled a 6. Okay, that's very good. Next in line is Patrice Hathaway. She has a Dark Pact. She has a back injury and a diseased card. So those are the 3 that she has. We can resolve those in any order that we wish. And I suppose I'll start with the diseased card. We have to test, we'll start with the back injury. Test strength. If you fail, flip the card. Okay, she has a current strength of 2 plus, a strength of 1 and plus 2 for her improvement. So she'll be able to roll 3 dice on that test. Okay, here is the roll. She has 3 successes. Okay, so the back injury is done. We're okay with that. We'll move on to the diseased card. Now that's at a -1, so we'll only be able to roll 2 dice for this. Okay, here is the roll. She has no successes, so we will have to flip the card. And that reads, feverish delusions. Before the disease leaves your body, you are stricken by an intense fever. Your mind suffers and you begin to have wild delusions. Lose 1 sanity and gain a hallucinations condition, then discard. All right, that'll move her sanity down to 3, and she's going to gain a hallucinations card. Okay, and the hallucinations card reads, madness. When you perform a rest action, you may roll a die. On a 5 or 6, discard the card, and it does have a reckoning effect. That won't happen this turn, though. All right, and we can get rid of this card now. That is the diseased card. Finally, the Dark Pact. Roll a die. On a 1, it's time to fulfill your part of the bargain. Flip the card. Okay, anything but a 1. We rolled a 2, thank God. All right, so we're good with her now. She is complete. And we'll move on to Jacqueline Fine. Jacqueline Fine has a debt condition and a Dark Pact. Okay, it says for the debt condition, some men have come to collect the debt. Flip the card. Okay, we'll do that. Transferred debt. It reads, we have already taken care of your debts. Now we need something from you. The man grins and hands you a manila envelope with your instructions. We trust you'll hold up your side of the deal, gain an agreement condition, and then discard. I apologize for that. I had to take a phone call and then I had to change batteries. Okay, she's going to gain an agreement condition, and we'll give that to her, and that is going to complete that portion of the turn for her. And that's not true. She still has a Dark Pact we have to roll for, so we're going to have to make a roll on that. On a 1, the Dark Pact is going to kick in. Okay, here is the roll. Thank goodness she rolled a 6. Okay, that completes that phase for Jacqueline Fine. Kate Winthrop is already, she's gone mad, so she has no cards that we have to resolve for her, and that is going to complete the reckoning portion of that phase. Now we're going to move on to spawn a gate, and we will spawn a gate at the Atlantis space. That's space 8. We'll get a red stand and put that out on space 8. All right, and that is going to appear in the Caribbean area. We'll place that gate there. And then we have to spawn a monster. And see what we get. And we spawn a cultist. Okay, we'll get a stand for that. And we'll place that with the Atlantis gate. Okay, now that all remains is the event. It reads, everywhere you go, people keep only those belongings that they think they need or they will think will be valuable. They keep only what they can carry. The rest they burn or bury, fearing the inevitable looting that will come with the end of the world. It's called mass hysteria. The lead investigator chooses a number between 0 and 3 and advances the doom track the chosen number. Then search the asset deck, discard pile, and reserve for all assets with value equal to or greater than 2, plus the chosen number, and return them to the game box. All right, well, if that's the case, we're just going to choose 0, and then we would discard all of those items out of the asset deck, and that is going to complete the Mythos phase. Now we have 4 clue tokens on our final 4th mystery, and it says, at the end of the Mythos phase, if there are clues on this card equal to the number of investigators, solve the mystery. So we have solved 4 mysteries, and our investigators win the game against the Elder Things. And that is going to complete our playthrough of Eldritch Horror against the Rise of the Elder Things. Thanks for joining me throughout this series of videos, and I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. And we'll see you next time with a new game at the Solo Gamers Club. Thanks again, and have a good evening. Good night.